So I'm going to get to, kind of my last couple of slides and talk about what really matters, net income. And I was really happy and excited a couple of years ago when we stood up here and said for the first time, as all average owner-operators, we've broken the $60,000 net income barrier, because when we started in this business, owner-operators were averaging $45,000 to $48,000, so $60,000 was a big deal. It's awesome to see owner-operators making more money every single year. So I hate to stand up here and say over the last year you've made 2% less money on average. What I really hate to see is the reefer business, and again, I understand pieces of it and I can explain away some of it, but the reefer drivers have struggled. Their net income's down by over 10% if you look at the far right. So it's been tough in the reefer business the last few years. On the flip side, for net income for owner-operators to be down 2%, that's actually not a bad thing. If you read the reports of public carriers, many carriers over the last year, their earnings have been down 25%, 50%, 60%. And really what that tells me is owner-operators are owner-operators for a reason. They can adjust their business every single day. Like I was saying, you can drive faster, you can drive slower, you can do this to get that load, and you can manage your business every day. If I own 1,000 trucks or 5,000 trucks as a fleet, it takes me years to implement change. And so that's the beauty of an owner-operator business. As things change, as you get smart, as you learn at shows like this, you can adjust based on what's going on in the industry. The good news is long-term trend for owner-operators is up. We sure have our dips. It's a cyclical business. As things get tough, income goes down a little bit, but it recovers. But the long-term trend is good. So this is one of my favorite slides, and I'm going to attribute the data on here to the folks at truckstop.com partly. So what I'm looking at is on the far left, we go back 11 years. The average owner-operator was driving 139,000 miles a year, and I remember those days. Those were tough. Because you can't sleep, you're driving 15 hours a day, you're 5 weeks away from home, never see your family. Things have gotten better. We're more regional, you get home more often. I'm not going to stand up here and say truck driving is an easy job, but it's a better job than it was 11 years ago. The miles driven have been reduced by 20%. That's a good thing for drivers. On the flip side, net income has gone in the last 11 years from $47,000 to $60,000. That's a 28% increase. So any person who works for a living would love to work less and make more. That's good dynamics ultimately for owner-operators. So I asked Max about March, Max from Overdrive, who introduced this, about March of every year. They do the best owner-operator population study I know of, and I wait with bated breath to know what the owner-operator population did over the last year. And I would have expected over the last year or two that the owner-operator population declined, just like it did during the recession. We went from 279,000 owner-operators to 224,000 owner-operators. As we've regained the economy over the last few years, we kind of grew from 224 to 268, but I would have expected the owner-operator population to have reduced as things have been tough. But when Max gave me the number of 268,000 owner-operators for 2016, we had 265,000 the year before that. So the owner-operator population actually went up 1% during the last year. And I think that's a testament to the drivers who are better today than they were 5 or 6 years ago. They're putting money down on trucks. There's no fog the mirror test and no money down and get in your truck and we hope you make it. That's how we evaporated 50,000 owner-operators during the recession, because they weren't true legitimate businesses. The folks that are in the business today and that are in this room, are solid, good businesses that manage through the tough times. So I'm going to wind up with just my predictions for 2017, and you can heckle me next year if I don't get any of them right. First, remaining ELDs will be implemented at the end of 2017. And I put up their impact is enforcement dependent. And I'm going to simply say that a lot of folks in our business don't think the ELDs really matter, at least right now from a capacity perspective, because it's going to take all of next year to really enforce it and get drivers off the road that aren't compliant and those kinds of things. My opinion is it's going to happen pretty quick in the first quarter next year. And it's not like if I pull in a port January 1st and I don't have an ELD, they're going to take my truck away from me. What they're probably going to do is make you park for 24 hours and reset your logbook because you can't prove on an ELD that you're legal. But all that has to happen is that has to happen 3 or 4 times in January and February, and all of a sudden you get 3 or 4 log violations, and your insurance company is going to cancel your insurance, and your shipper is going to start looking at your CSA score not shipped by you, or the carrier is going to cancel their independent contractor agreement with you. So unfortunately, regulation has gotten pretty quick, and information is quick in our business. So that ELD is going to matter at the end of this year. It's going to happen quicker than we all think. Net income is going to start going up for owner-operators. I believe the cycle's bottomed, and I think through the end of the year and into next year, things are going to get much better. Fragmented capacity, I already talked a little bit about that, but people are going to start looking for places that they can make money. Their world's changing, and so when I put on an ELD and I can no longer run 140,000 miles illegally, now I have to run legally, how am I going to do that and make money? And lastly, I've actually, been getting some press, people writing up, people arguing with me. I believe rates are going up a ton. I really do. When I think about the dynamics of the ELD, what it's going to do to our industry, at the same time things are kind of picking up, I think rates are going up 10%. That's a big number. That's never really happened in trucking, even during the good days. But I believe that's going to happen.